Welcome to the Waldorf Gridiron Club podcast, your home for all things football at Waldorf University, the best small college football experience in America. Hosted by Andy Buffington and me, Troy Thompson, from the secret gridiron bunker beneath Bolsdorf Field. Now, let's meet the captains of today's podcast. Welcome to episode 23 of the Waldorf Gridiron Club podcast. Normally, Andy Buffington says that, and it's just me, Troy Thompson, here at mid-season. Andy is fishing, and he invited me to come along with him. He's probably catching all of the walleye at Lake Okoboji right now and not leaving any for me, and he'll probably just bring them back and say, this is no big deal. And of course, to me, it is, because I've only caught one walleye in my whole life. So I get to stay behind and do the fun stuff this week and talk about where we're at. And it's fun for me because I've got a whole host of people here in the bunker. We've got most of the. Is this everybody? No. I feel like we're missing Ani, and we got a lot of. Their way. Yeah, we got most of the coaching staff here, and we'll see what we've got. It's going to be a short podcast today. We're mid-season. We're sitting down with the coaches. We're getting a summation of what we've done so far and where we're going next. Let's get it started right away with the head coach Will Finley. We're at the halfway point in the season, and we're 4-1. Well, how did we get there?
Just a lot of hard work from our players and coaches, and our guys have performed well on Saturday. And I know the scores it looks bigger than what it is, but we faced some adversity and found ways to win.
All right, so you have been working hard. You've gotten better every single week. What is the greatest improvement that you've seen since week one?
Well, I told our players this a couple weeks ago. I started the team meeting late on a Friday night, a couple minutes late, and Coach Chapa was in there with me, but it was the camaraderie of our guys.
Right.
And just all the different conversations, and I think I started like at 8:35. Me supposed to start at 8:30, but I was just listening. And I said, those are the relationships, talks that our guys will remember forever. So just that the team bond, the camaraderie, I think is at a really high right now.
That's good. Other coaches, what is the biggest improvement since week one? Here we are in week 5. Nope, 6. This is starting 6 now. So, yeah.
Coach Chapa here. Like Coach Finley said, I think our guys are – like we have an older group, so I think our guys are mature enough to have that brotherhood, but also understand that it's a long football season. And so going to weights every week, we do study hall every single week, working hard every single day in practice. I think they're doing all of that really, really well. Whereas maybe in years past, halfway through the season, guys start getting fatigued and maybe don't practice as hard. So I think that's been a huge change for us.
They're still fired up, is what
Absolutely.
You're saying. That's good. That's good. Anybody else got something to say about that? The beginning of the season, always a little bit shaky at the beginning of the season in any program. You guys didn't. You started off well. You didn't look bad, in my opinion, whatsoever. But I can see improvement, and obviously you can too. So then, if there's something that we can, so we obviously have to sustain where we're at. Okay. So then, what are we trying to improve for the next game? I guess the number one thing that we're focused on is always to win, I suppose. But what are we looking at?
I could start here. This is Coach Finley. I talked on the radio this morning with the radio guy in Aberdeen, and I think defensively tackling, throughout the season, our tackling needs to improve. Field position with our special teams, but just be able to flip the field when we need to, be able to drive the ball out even when we're backed up when it's tough, and then defensively, if we do have them pinned back, do not allow them to drive the field and switch field position. So that's where I think we can improve, hopefully here in this early in conference play.
Okay. Yeah.
Coach Paramore here. I'd say just down the stretch, we need to do a better job taking care of the football. Offensively, if that's my one complaint, it would be just our ball security as a whole. Mm-hmm. We put the ball on the ground against, I believe it was St. Ambrose, deep in their territory. We fumbled once against Briarcliff as we were putting the game away, running out the clock, but still a turnover. And then obviously we had turnovers last week. Credit to Ferris State, they're a good football team, but it always goes back to what we've talked about from the very beginning. It's us doing what we are supposed to do and doing our job, not necessarily what the other team's doing. And when you look, we've had a lot of success when we do what we do, and when we don't do what we do, we have issues. So it just boils down to doing our job. Every individual doing their job on every individual play.
100%. So then, speaking of, so obviously last week was a challenge, but we knew at the beginning, we knew last spring that it was going to be a challenge, excited that it happened. What is the attitude of the team, regardless of the outcome? What's the attitude of the team that was a long ride home? Obviously, didn't turn out the way that we probably hoped and dreamed it was, but they're a very, very good program. And how's the team feel?
It's Coach Chapa here again. I think our guys were fired up about the experience and the fact that we hung with a really good football team for a quarter and a half. Yes. And just to highlight some of those things and like individually our guys are like, hey, I hung with them for about as long as we could, and then Coach said, yeah, let's flush it and move on. Right. So it was a good experience for especially a lot of our older guys. That's probably the best football team they're going to play ever, probably as a whole. Mm-hmm. And we're not going to see anybody like them, and they know that. And so, like, going forward for the rest of the year, I think that's something for them to fall back on, saying, hey, when we're facing adversity for the rest of the year, because every game's going to have some sort of adversity, just to lean back on that and say, hey, we've played way better guys than what we're facing.
Right. So iron sharpens iron is the old statement, and I think that's absolutely true. You guys went out there and fought a hard fight, and I probably learned a ton. And I didn't see everybody walked off the field too. We didn't come away with any serious injuries, or we're okay. Or
no, I'd say holistically we walked away in pretty good shape. We're a little bit banged up in some spots on the offensive line. Obviously, when you play up a division. That's where you're going to see the biggest difference is your interior line play. And, like we've talked about, they had a really good program. They've done an excellent job recruiting. Their defensive line play was really, really good. But it's like Coach Chapa talked about earlier. We feel really good about the fact that we can tell our guys that we're not going to see another Caleb Murphy. That was the Division II Player of the Year defensively, number 12. He's on Mel Kiper's draft board. So our tackles will not see another defensive end like that all year. They probably won't see another interior defensive lineman like the number 2, Jordan Jones, kid that played there 2I. He was a great player as well. So the overall talent, that we saw should prepare us for anything going forward. And, you look at it, we did have some things open up there, and if they don't call Harper out of bounds on the long run, that might be a touchdown, and all of a sudden, it's a 10-10 game, and it's a credit to Coach Finley and the kind of culture he's put together here. Like I think our guys came out and fought, and they fought the entire game. And then I felt like yesterday, we talked about it this morning, we had one of our better practices of the year. So if we continue to keep doing those things, we need to come out and execute Saturday and execute our game plan. But our kids responded really well to that.
That's good. I can't think of there's probably better ways, but that's a pretty darn good way to come to midseason and start your conference play and you just get a real opportunity. So you're coming in 4-1. You talk about it's easy for that D2 division, for the national champs to recruit. Well, yeah, when you're a winning program and they're a good program, and it is, and you guys have experienced that too. There's always a dozen guys on the sideline for us every Saturday on the home games because they want to come and play for you too. And then you come in now and start playing the rest of the actual conference play where it really matters to get to where, wherever the next thing is that we want to be. And they've come in and they've said, okay, well, we beat these 4 guys coming in. One of them is a team we'll see again at the end of the season, right? And so they've got that experience, and then they kind of get knocked down pretty good, and that's awesome in a way. They may not see it that way because they had an opportunity to stand back up and dust themselves off and go, oh, that's right, 1-0 every week, undefeated at home. And I know the things that you guys preach to that mantra, and it must be sticking with them because they had a good attitude going in. I'm glad to hear they have it coming out.
Yeah, I think just have that gut check, early in the season sometimes maybe, we knew the task was going to be high, but, at the end of the day, we still lost. So you take a deeper look at what we're doing, still. and what we can improve at. Because sometimes when you win, you're like, all right, well, we're just kind of rolling. We can make up for that. But when you lose, regardless of the opponent, you're still going to look internally and what we can do. And Coach Paramore talked about it, what we can do better, and our guys have embraced that, obviously, with the enthusiasm at practice and the want to, because, you could go the other way easily. So I'm impressed with our guys with that.
It makes me think of, this is a weird reference, but it's crossed my mind. Remember in Ghostbusters, where the original Ghostbusters, right? Where the guy's like,
I'm Winston Zeddemore, Your Honor. But I've only been with the company for a couple of weeks. But I gotta tell you, these things are real. Since I joined these men, I have seen that'll turn you white.
That's the quote I wanted to put in there. Yeah. So because that's what the guys maybe are feeling a little bit. They come out and they're like, okay, well, they're coming up and they're going to play the rest of the guys in the conference, the other teams, and then now they got their heads on straight and they're looking at it as like, I have seen that'll turn you white. So like they've been to the battlefield, and if you can survive any battle and go back to the next battlefield, you're just a little bit better. And hopefully that's what happens. So enough about last week. This coming week, the fans that listen to this, the parents that are out there across the country, and we're talking about presentation. Yeah. So anything special we need to know about them?
Coach Ani here. Presentation's a good football team. We're excited for the opportunity to take a chance to go and compete after last week. And they run a pretty interesting defense. They do a little bit more moving around and twisting than we might have seen from previous teams this year. They got a couple of interesting sets they run. They try to kind of hide what defense they're in from a shell base between 3-4, 4-2. They got a lot of DBs in the backfield. So I'm excited to get a chance to go back out there and kind of get back to what we do a little bit more and play them. Yeah.
Should be beautiful weather for, football in the fall is always beautiful. So we look forward to that. It's a home game. What we got over here on this side of the table?
Coach Joey here. Just watching them, and they bring a lot of unique things to the table offensively. They have a lot of formations that a lot of teams you won't see that from. So that definitely presents a challenge for us. Just trying to make that adjustment to something unique that I for sure don't ever remember going up against. So it's also a good thing for us because figuring out how to combat that. That's also helping us get better as a defense. And I think our guys are ready for the challenge. And really, it's just 1-0 and move on from there.
So this is a point in the conversation. We're about this is a short broadcast today, so we're about halfway. I do want to open up something. Christensen's not saying a dang thing. We're just like over there in the corner, and he's like turning the mic.
He's the silent assassin.
Yeah.
Silent assassin.
So let's talk a little bit about the coach, and I can give you some feedback about what's happening. I don't know. I'm sure you guys have listened to every episode, loyally and all that stuff. But so let's talk about the kids, what they talk about you and the coaches and the program. Obviously, you're having success. I think it's success. I heard on another type of podcast that's a hard word to define. It doesn't necessarily mean, what does success ultimately mean? Well, in my opinion, what you're seeing from the result that you're getting from your players is pretty darn good. They seem to buy into what you're selling. And I think they're buying it because they believe that they know that what you're selling is something that you're a product that you believe in. So what we're hearing from Coach Gould, I'll tell you that the guys are saying, hey, good. They're learning some things from you. Your first year here with the Warriors, so that's always good to know. They're saying that you're working on some footwork things, and that's making some improvements on the line. Is that true? He's going to take total credit. He's like, yeah, and I got more.
No.
No?
So, yeah, we have improved as a D-line, but all the credit goes to the kids. They bought into what I'm saying and buying into the system and going through the drill work and all that stuff. And it's amazing to see how they put the drills to the football field on game day. So we are improving. We're not there yet. There's so much more work to do, and we're going to just keep getting better every single day.
Very good. I heard from, of course, there's a lot of conversation about Paramore, different funny stories. Actually, it says that there is apparently a pretty good relationship between Paramore and Ani. What's that all about? You guys are like peas in a pod, apparently. You guys are sitting by each other right now. They can share a microphone.
Yeah, we are sharing a microphone.
They're actually sharing a chair, which is weird, but whatever.
I could. This is Coach Finley. I can pipe in. Yeah. They're just they're connected, which is good. I mean, it's just we talk about the relationship of the players, but the relationship of the coaches is just as important to be on the same page. And I mean, we spend more time with each other than probably our families and wives. So you got to get along with the guys you work with. It makes it enjoyable. But those two, they're connected. I think they eat about 3 meals a day together. A lot of meat and cheese.
Oh yeah,
and a lot of Coke Zeros. But no, it's those are that's what it's all about.
Pepsi's.
I mean, that's what it's all about. And it's I don't know. They could probably talk more about it. But that's what I see.
Let's figure out. Let's open this up a little bit.
Yeah, I guess so. Coach Ani here. I can say that me and Coach Paramore have grown pretty close over the last couple of weeks. It's awesome from an offensive perspective to see kind of from the coaching side of things how the relationship that you build and just the general conversation day in and day out kind of can translate to the football field. I think that's from my perspective, being having my own chance to kind of grow throughout the season, learning from Coach Paramore as the offensive coordinator, obviously. I think that's one of the biggest things that I've seen is how the little stuff that you don't think might even show up again throughout the week, little conversations, little quips here and there. Hey, what do you think about, 1st and 10 and the way this linebacker walks down here? What do you think about that? Oh, that's kind of weird. We could probably throw a tight end over there. It doesn't come up the rest of the week. And then, in the game day, in the moment, calling that, how it can show up. So I think having a close relationship between some of the guys with headsets on the sideline could be something that's an awesome advantage in our part. So, Coach, I'll open up to you too, I guess.
Yeah, let's hear that.
Well, I'll say this. So I can't fix anything around the house at all. I don't cook very well. I don't clean very well either. Coach Ani does everything domestically better than I do. So
Let's see where this is going.
Coach Ani's at the house a good bit. Yeah. So, while he's fixing my window or fixing my door, we have a lot of conversations about, he'll be like in the middle of doing something very like strenuous. Like the basement window is broken. So Coach is down there like with his power drill and stuff. Like I had already attempted to fix the window myself, which it was horrible. It consisted of duct tape and I had found like some extra flooring and I tried to duct tape flooring to the wall. Right. So, it's times like that. The coach is over there fixing my house because I can't figure out how to fix anything. I don't even have it. He has like a whole tool set that he just hauls around his truck wherever he needs.
Right.
He's like Bob the Builder.
He comes with it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's like a Bob the Builder at all times.
Right.
And then there's me. I don't even have a screwdriver. So he's over there at the house, trying to fix my window. And I'm sitting there trying to ask him like, Coach, on 3rd and 2 this week, do you want to run inside zone to the power pair or away from the power pair? Or do you think duo's better? And he's like, yeah, give me 1 second, Coach, as he's trying to like screw in another deal. Or, I mean, there's no telling. But, overall, we have grown close just because, I mean, we obviously don't have a very big offensive staff. It's me and Coach Ani and Coach Hart and Coach Christensen during the week, and Coach Christensen can't be here on game day. So we have a pretty small offensive staff. So, so it does cultivate those relationships, and I'm grateful for Coach Ani and Coach Hart, and what we've been able to build here so far. But I will say having a relationship that's close and a friendship, what it does help with, in my opinion, and I haven't experienced it in other places, is having an offensive line coach that you are friends with. When the bullets start flying, it's a lot. We have very calm conversations on the sideline, whereas in other previous experiences, that's when you start saying some pretty off the wall things, or at least I do.
Right.
But because it's me and him, we're able to calmly communicate back and forth fixes, which then translates to our players. So our whole thing offensively right now is just trying to cultivate a sense of composure at all times, and obviously having close relationships on our staff helps do that. So,
well, I mean, I see you guys walk out from half at the beginning of the game, and at the half, you guys come out together. Usually, it's you two first at the beginning of the game. Just kind of saunter on out there, because I'm always looking from the box, like when's this music going to start playing? Because I want to do my announcing, and I'm waiting. I'm counting down I'm looking at the scoreboard and the clock's ticking down, and then you two just wander on out there, and I'm like, they must be coming soon then. And like, who knows? You guys are in your own world, and that's cool. And from what I hear from Andy, who's obviously around quite a bit, you both pretty intense. Is there another intense relationship on the staff, on the defense, or anything like that? Have we cultivated that type of situation, or what's happening?
Yeah, I mean, after this, Coach Chapa, I Coach Finley and I have been here for 4 seasons together.
Mm-hmm.
We've done a lot of stuff together in the summertime. Our birthdays are 2 days apart, so our wives have done special things for us for our birthdays. And then we bring in old Michael Gould, and he just kind of fits in with us immediately.
He doesn't even have a birthday, which is weird.
I don't know it, which is my bad. I know he's 26, about to be 27, right?
Right.
And but game planning wise and stuff, it's an easy conversation to have, especially when Coach Finley kind of he trusts us and our him with the D line and me with the back end and our ideas and thoughts, and the gears just keep turning. And we've watched film at night in Coach's basement, and so all of our time is not spent in the office together. We're not fixing Coach's windows,
right?
Because I don't think either one of us could do that. But just continuing and building on that relationship outside of the office, I think is special for us too.
It's awesome. I'm not hitting a lot of information from this side of the table. I'm gonna need you to do some input here. Let's talk a little bit about our backs. What do you got to say about this week and what you're looking for in the future?
This is Coach Hart here,
mm-hmm.
and the backs have been doing really good lately. They've been running hard. Only thing, just ball security always. Just got to preach that, and just ball security is just part of the game. You can't let turnovers happen.
Yeah.
So constantly trying to work that in Indy, and like Coach G said, seeing drills come to life in games is really good to see. So it lets you know that what you're doing is working.
Mm-hmm.
So just got to stay on top of that.
All right. Well, that's good. I got to get some input from, let's get a little story from, Paramore, looks like you're going to say something. No? Why don't you turn that microphone over to Coach Christensen, because we have not, I think everybody else on this staff here has had a conversation at one point on the podcast. So
he's got the most experience.
Yeah. Let's get to know Coach Christensen. Tell us a little bit about yourself. You're from Belmont.
Yes, I am. I tried to stay as far away from this mic as I could. So, but eventually it worked its way this way.
Yeah, it swivels.
I know. I see that. Yes, I'm very blessed to have the opportunity. I've coached high school football for quite a few years, and when my son graduated and was going to go on and compete at the college level, I stepped down, and with a conversation with Coach Finley, he talked to me and said, if I'd be interested in coming up and being a part of what we're doing here at Waldorf. And I kind of got the best of both worlds. I still get to be involved with coaching during the week, and he allows me to go chase my son on the weekends, and it's worked out real well. It's really hard for me because and I talked to Coach Paramore and Ani a lot. One of the things I wrote on the top of my practice plan for years is be here every day on time. And that part of it is a real struggle for me.
To not be at the game. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
So where's your boy play?
Concordia St. Paul.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel like I've heard of that.
The Golden Bears.
The Golden Bears.
Yeah.
What's it? Seafoam Stadium? Isn't that what we talked about many episodes ago? See, there. I think the only, like you said, the only people that actually know that it's Seafoam Stadium are the people that listen to this podcast and the players themselves. How about that? Did you know it was Seafoam Stadium?
No, I didn't. Not until start the recruiting process.
There we go. Very good. Well, that's exciting. So, you've been here at Waldorf for how many years?
This is my second year.
Second year. Okay, but you coached at for the Broncos, the Belmont Clemmy Broncos. I don't want to confuse our ears perk up and they're like, oh dang, the Broncos. Now we're talking. Yeah. So you coached for them for how many years?
Coached for them I moved there in '98, so I was part of the staff, head coach for a good chunk of those years, for about 20, 22 years, somewhere around there.
Wow.
Prior to that, I was around the state. At the high school level, I coached for 37 years. And
a lot
good
of
chunk
football.
Those were head coach.
Yeah. So you've got interesting segues. There's a table full of coaches, and we are fairly young. And you're just a shade over 50, I'd say, right? Just a shade over, you know?
A very big shade.
Yeah, a shadow over it. So you've been coaching for a long time, longer than some of these guys have been. Actually, how long did you say?
This is my 39th year.
Yeah, you've been coaching for longer than all of these coaches have been around. So how do you impart that love of, you must love the game and enough to keep doing it for that long, and for these guys who obviously love the game, and then and so what do you give to them, or what do you think you give to them, and then I'm really interested to hear what they think they get from you on that same token.
I don't know. I obviously, hopefully I bring some experience, and sometimes they'll ask questions and pick my brain on certain things. But I think with the role that I have here, I want to always stay within my role and be there and be able to answer questions and do that, but do the best day in, day out with the group that I have, which is the tight ends group, and try to be the best tight ends coach I can be.
Fantastic. And so the rest of the younger coaches, what do we glean from Coach Christensen?
Oh, Coach Christensen is he's me and Coach Ani's counselor.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. He is very much so. So he can be the voice of reason if there's not a great day. And I mean we do lean on him a lot for his experience. He definitely is a calming presence for both of us. Because you just know he's been on the sideline longer than me and Coach Ani have been alive almost combined. Yeah, actually, I think that would be true. It's close. Yeah, no, It definitely is. Yeah. So he's been on the sideline for a very long time, and we definitely look to him for that leadership. He also does an excellent job with our tight end group. We use tight ends a lot in our offense, and he's done an excellent job with Nolan Froween and David Warren, and he's helped get Antoine Jackson eligible, who's a big tight end that you might have saw on the field against Ferris State a little bit, big-time player. Coach has done a lot for Antoine and getting him ready to rock and roll and getting him to a place that I think he'll be a good player for us coming down the stretch, and that's a credit to Coach Christensen. So we're really happy to have him here. He's also, for me, I mean, he's great recruiting-wise because, like I said, I'm new to Iowa, and Coach Christensen knows every road in Iowa,
right,
and every school in the state of Iowa, how to get there. You take 134 over to 62 and down to 31 and over to 83. Well, Coach, I'll probably just have to put that in my maps, but I appreciate it.
I don't think we have some of those roads, but maybe we do. You would know.
He would know.
He's a long-time Iowan, so a lot of us we don't even know where certain towns are unless you hear them. You have to run them through your head and see how they're consolidated. Does that sound right? You just if somebody were to say, "Well, I'm from Geneva," and you're like, Geneva. Oh, Ackley, Geneva, AGWSR. That's where you're from. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of schools have turned into alphabet soup type
of
schools over the course of time. So it's changed over the years.
Yeah, for sure. Here we are, mid-season, a record of 4-1. Is that where we thought we would be, Coach?
I think that's. I was asked the same question this morning.
Okay,
and every summer, I know leaving spring ball and the way our guys worked, I knew that we'd be competitive in every game. Now we're if the ball bounces the right way, turnovers, someone gets hurt, you don't know how many games you're going to win. But I'm really impressed with the way our guys have battled and found a way to win those four. impressed with where we're at, but I know we have a lot more left to do. But to say that I knew it'd be 4-1, no. But I was hoping we would be pretty close to this.
That's off to the best start. Is it the best start? And Andy's better at the stats, but I think is that since we've been in university? Is that the best start?
4-0, best start in 4-year school history. I'm not sure about the 2-year, but yeah, and it's a credit to our staff and our players and Gridiron Club and the community, our president and AD. I think everyone's got a piece in this and helping us to get to where we are. And all like we talked about relations. One thing, the GAs, all the stuff they do behind the scenes, and Andy in the equipment room, all those things, man, they stack up and make like Coach Ani and Coach Paramore's job, my job, easier. We can spend more time game planning and recruiting where. It's not Coach Paramore, plugging in the chip and uploading the film.
Right.
He's helping players and recruiting and thinking about 3rd and 1 instead of maybe doing those other jobs, but they're all just as important. And everyone's got a role, and I think we all do a pretty good job at staying in our lane, but also holding each other accountable. And I appreciate. We couldn't do it without all these guys here.
Well, you're 4-1 heading into your midway. We've got conference play the rest of the game. We've said it a bunch of times. This is where we're at, and very excited, doing a great job. And this is the last thing I'll say for this group of men in the room with me right now. Your players are all outstanding characters. I mean, they are very impressive young men. Last week we had a great episode. I was just so impressed with those senior leaders and the things that they had to say and the way that they said it. And that's a reflection on you and on the program and on the university. The community loves you. The Gridiron loves it. And I hope that we continue to grow that and develop that and so that everybody from the surrounding communities and as far as ways we can possibly reach comes to the games on Saturdays as we continue to get bigger and bigger and better and lots of great things that you guys are doing right here. So thanks so much for sitting down with me and taking the time this week. Next week we'll be back with Andy Buffington and the normal sounds. Make sure you make it out to the game when this drops. It'll be on Friday, so the game will be tomorrow against Presentation, and we're looking forward to another well-deserved victory if you go out and do your job, starting at the first second off the clock. So always and forever, go Warriors.
You can join the Waldorf Gridiron Club today by sending a check to the Waldorf Gridiron Club, P.O. Box 125, Forest City, Iowa, 50436.
Or message us by visiting and like our Facebook page, Waldorf Gridiron Club, or email us at waldorfgridironclub@gmail.com.
Or it's as easy as clicking on the Support the Show link on your phone. Become a patron of the Gridiron Club by choosing to support the program monthly. $100 is the black membership at $9 a month.
The $250 level is purple at $25 a month.
$500 is the Warrior membership at $45 a month.
The all-conference level is $750 or $65 a month.
$1,000 is the All-American membership at $85 a month.
The champion level is $125 a month, and that's $1,500 a year.
$2,500 is the Hall of Fame membership.
The Waldorf Gridiron Club podcast is hosted by Andy Buffington and me, Troy Thompson. Produced by Sunnyside Farmstead Studios in beautiful rural Forest City, Iowa. The music is by Christian Leo. The Waldorf Gridiron Club is a nonprofit 501c3 organization dedicated to football student-athletes of Waldorf University. Our mission is to assist the program in maintaining the best small college football experience in America.